welcome to Inside the Boy Child's Life, a program where we uncover the hidden struggles, challenges, and triumphs of today's boys, and also explore how we can change the narratives. I am Ambassador Joyce, Nwakanma, your host and the visionary behind the Boy Child's Life, Changing the Narratives Foundation. Today, we are going to be discussing a very important topic titled Hanging Fate, Justice for the Boy Child. Today's topic sheds light on the fragile line between protection and punishment in the lives of boys. It explores how neglect, misunderstanding, and unequal justice can determine a boy's future, and calls for fairness, compassion, and systems that protect rather than condemn the boy child. Let's watch this short film from the Boy Child's Life Advocacy movie series titled Hanging Fate. We'll be right back.
Imagine a life that is free from drugs. Imagine a world that is free from
Come, Joe. Something is wrong somewhere. I need to investigate. Come on, go in. Come on, go in. Go in, Baya. Undress, remove your clothes. I will beat you. Come on, remove your clothes. Remove your clothes, this boy. I said remove your clothes. Remove your clothes. Remove your clothes. Remove your clothes. My friend, remove your clothes. You think I'm joking with you? Remove your clothes!
Imagine a life with no exploitation. Imagine a world with no child abuse. Can we just have a life that is free from child labor? Imagine a life. Imagine a life.
Sule, you seem troubled. Is everything okay?
Yes, please help me. My stepmother is abusing me.
Abuse? Abuse? Please calm down. Calm down. Everything is going to be okay. I know what I'm going to do. Please calm down. Calm down, okay? Everything is good.
Imagine a life.
Sule,
Sir.
we are here to help you.
Thank you, sir.
You are safe now.
Thank you, sir.
Madam,
Officer.
we'll do everything possible to investigate this matter.
Okay, sir.
I didn't do anything.
We have evidence, Miss Kapi. You are not going anywhere.
Imagine a life with no exploitation. Imagine a world with no child abuse. Can we just have a life that is free from child labor? Imagine a life. Imagine a life. Imagine a life that is free from drugs. Imagine a world that is free from rape. Can we just have a life that is free from extortion? Imagine a world. Imagine a life. I'm overthinking, it's all in my mind. I'm overthinking, I'm overstimulating in my head. I'm overthinking, it's all in my mind. I'm overthinking, I'm overstimulating in my head. I'm overthinking in my mind. I'm overstimulating in my head. I'm overthinking in
Um, having listened to the testimony of Sule, the victim, it is very clear that you are guilty of the offense you are charged for. And Miss Kabiru is so condescending of you to get yourself involved in a thing like that. Well, in view of this, Miss Kabiru, I hereby sentence you to 15 years imprisonment for child abuse and molestation.
Move, madam.
Imagine a
Move
life
before I move you.
with no exploitation. Imagine a world with no child abuse. Can we just have a life that is free from child labor? Imagine a life.
Welcome back. With me in the studio today is Olarinde Babs, a director, a cinematographer, and a boy/youth advocate. Welcome, Babs.
All right, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So, Babs, what does the story of Hanging Feet reveal about the risk boys face even under the care of trusted adults?
You know, after watching the short episode, it actually took me back to when I was a very young boy, maybe a bit older than the boy. So the story is relatable. Personally, to me, it's relatable because you can never really trust anybody. And most of the mistakes our parents make is, oh, he's my auntie. Oh, he's my so person, he's my this, is my that. Go and stay there. And most of this thing is influenced maybe because maybe the parents are not in the country, or they are poor, or they don't have the capacity of training the children, so they feel like, okay, let me send my child to one of my siblings or a extended family. And the person the parent trusts, that person you used to think that person is, may not be the person, because change is constant. And now from the episode, you look at the mother and the woman abusing that child sexually. And I can only imagine number of times this has been happening for the child to be able to speak up. Even though the fact that the neighbor noticed some kind of movement, a lot of young boys out there are facing the same challenges. A lot of young boys out there are going through a lot. Like I said, when I was very young, I think this story, it's gonna be the first time I'm gonna be saying this on the national television on a program like this. When I was a young boy, I used to be this very active guy right from time. In the early 90s, there used to be one of this auntie, and they are in the university, right? And we are just two boys. Hey, Babs, hey, Jamie, come and help me do this. You understand? Then later, we'll just stylishly be like, touching. And you know, we're just a young boy. And in fact, what we were doing then, we have no idea what we were doing. Because those days, things like that are not really common. And, you know, from using our hand to, you know, touch ourselves and all of those things, to the point that it got to the point, you know, sometimes he would tell us to climb on her and all of that. I'm saying this because I have been a victim like that growing up. My parents and nobody is aware of this, but that thing still never, you know, get off my memory. Sure you get. Honestly, millions, or let me say thousands of boy child are going through the same similar case, and it's just so sad that nobody's really paying deep attention to the boy's child's life. And that's why you see some child grow up to be who they are. You think Yoruba had they used to say, that there's no smoke without fire. When you see some men today reacting in a type of way, living a type of life, you'll be wondering who raised this kind of people, who raised this kind of child, who raised this kind of man. Not to bore you with so many of what is happening in the boy's child's life. I think, let me just stop there. But trust me, the boy case is real and it's happening now.
Moving to the next question, why do many boys stay silent when they are abused, and what can encourage them to speak up safely?
There's this narrative that you are a man, try and be strong. Be like a man. Because the society has literally, by default settings, makes a boy child a man to be mute because of the narrative of you are a man. And secondly, the shame. I would say most men are ashamed, or most boys are ashamed of themselves coming out to say, my auntie did this to me, my social person did this to me, because it's a boy. It would be like, and as a matter of fact, some people don't even believe that a boy child can be abused or a man can be abused. Just the same way we have guys who think they use girls, same way girls use guys. You understand? But the society has made us feel like men can never be used. But a lot of boys cry silently. And I think the only way to actually sort this out and make them speak up, because if you are not creating a proper awareness, if the awareness is not enough, giving them the courage to, or a platform or a room to speak, trust me, a lot of evil perpetrating the community, the world, will continue. And I'm loving this kind of a program who is giving the world, the boy's child, a voice to speak, because nobody is speaking for boys, because not knowing the right person to speak to, right? Not knowing the right person to talk to speak with is one of the reasons why boys are keeping quiet. But thank God for programs like this, platforms like this, which gives boy child or guys to see someone to talk to, because you hardly see men speaking out.
Adding to what you just said, it takes courage for someone to come out and see what happened to them, especially boys, because we're in a society where it is believed that boys are strong, superhumans. So whatever happens to them, they are supposed to, shoulder it and buckle it up. So you having the courage to come out and say, okay, now that the so thing happened to you when you were way younger, I think it will encourage so many other boys to talk. Because any boy that will watch this particular program now, wherever the person is watching this program, that person will feel, if this uncle can actually say this on air for us to see, that means I can actually confide in somebody and speak to that person. Because most of our parents these days are so absent and hostile that their children don't feel safe or comfortable even talking to them about the things happening in their lives. I think one of the safest way to make these boys speak is for their parents to be available for them. When a parent is available, you ask your children questions, tell them to freely tell you what they are going through. Play with them, be their friend. It will make them to be very free to talk to you about anything. Let's go on a quick break. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Inside the Boy Trust Life. Moving to the next question, what signs should parents, neighbors, and communities look out for to protect boys from abuse?
Okay, like from what we discussed earlier, one of the signs is when you see a child complaining about a thing, constantly complaining about a thing, or a particular uncle or a particular auntie, those are one of the signs a parent should not ignore. Okay? I do have a friend who shared his story on Facebook one certain time. He was so courageous enough to share his story, not even like he shared it personally with someone. And he said there's one of his uncle when he was young, he usually spanked his ass. You this boy, you are not a big boy, you. See your muzzle. Normally, even if you are anybody can be around there, you won't really take it as anything, right? These are the signs when parents neglect, community neglect. And gradually, as the boy grows, the uncle start taking advantage of it. You think the gays, the homosexuals you see today, you think it just started overnight? Some were being exposed to things like that right from their tender age. They are naive, they don't know anything. You understand? Because of what is so signs that the parents should not ignore. Social media is part of it. The things you allow that child to expose his or herself to. So we must be very careful and pay close attention to those things. Social media, the kind of friends they keep, things they usually complain about. When you see your child complaining about, you think, "Mommy, my stomach, mommy, my bum." You know, don't say because it's only a girl child. "Mommy, my bum." What happened? Hey, so what happened? What happened? Did anybody touch you? Things like that. So those little signs will help us to help a child to speak up, and you will know whatever things they are going through.
Moving to the next question. What responsibilities do law enforcement and society have in protecting boys and prosecuting abusers?
The law enforcement agency, their responsibility is to take up any action, swift action, whenever such cases have been reported to them. You know, it should not be taken with lefty hands. It's not something to price. It's not something to deal about. Straight judgment. And such responsibility should be taken in a way that it is going to teach another person. Because some people will be planning this thing, but once they see someone as a scapegoat, it will not make them to want to do this thing we're talking about.
Okay, how important was the boy's courage to open up to his neighbor, and how can we encourage communities to support boys in reporting abuse safely?
When there's proper awareness, trust me, that child will have a courage to speak out to somebody. And when they speak out to somebody, the person will report the situation to the law enforcement or to the right enforcement agency who should take up the action.
Moving to the next question. What emotional and psychological support should be provided to boys after surviving abuse?
Rehabilitation encompasses some few things, like in the rehabilitation centers, you give them therapy. One of the first things you support them with is therapy. We need to have some good counselors who is going to counsel them, talk to them, speak with them, so they don't feel ashamed of themselves, have stigma, trauma that will make them to disassociate themselves from some kind of people and all of that. They need to be able to speak to them to balance their emotion, their thinking, right? Because some of us, we carried some childhood trauma till we grow up, because we have no one to speak to us about it, and we don't feel that action is bad. And that's why we have monsters out there. Monsters. All these men you see that are pedophiles, they are this, that, and that, it doesn't just start overnight. They didn't see it wrong. The parents didn't pay attention to some of those things they were doing when they were kids. They felt it's normal till they grew up. Then, party of everything, the one that is worst. Maybe in the boarding house, boarding school. I don't know, maybe boarding school of nowadays, but boarding school of those days, there was no technology, there's no CCTV there. So many things happens in the boarding school. So when a boy child grew up with such a trauma, one of the greatest support you could give to such a child is giving that child a proper rehabilitation by proper therapy. Talk to them, balance their thinking, balance their emotion. Secondly, environment. Make sure they don't get back to that terrible environment. Because you cannot wash a dog, clean up a dog, and now return that dog to the dirty cage. All your effort is wasted. So the property is change the environment and constantly check up. So when we are talking about evangelism, it's not only in the Christendom or religious settings. Evangelism is an individual duty, or counselors in that regards to properly checking on them, asking about them. Because when this have somebody who is constantly report to or calling them to check on them, it will even make them to forget that things like that happens, or even shape their life and live right. So I think with that, it's gonna really shaping the idea, emotions of the boy child.
Let's go on a quick break. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Inside the Boy Child's Life. Moving to the next question. How can schools, communities, and families create safe spaces for boys to report abuse without fear?
I think one of the things the school can do is to create a department for such, whereby a child can open up to somebody if such things is happening in the school environment. Because a lot of things happen in the school, just like some of us have experienced this thing those days, where our senior mostly are the one that used to beat us for late coming. You understand? And we have some of our seniors who used to collect our money and some of the things we take to school, right? And they will tell you, if you talk to anybody, I will deal with you, I will do this. They inculcate fear in us. It's not even the teacher. So you can imagine if those seniors can do all of that, and put fear in us. Oh, because there is no a department created or a platform in the school or clubs created for such child to report for any for such menace or such abuse. It makes the child just keep mute and just and they carry on with that trauma. So the school should create a safe place.
Thank you for your contributions so far. So, what lessons can society learn from hanging fates to prevent similar abuse and protect the boy child in the future?
The best thing is that maybe you don't keep your child with somebody you don't trust. Because that's just the thing. You don't keep your child with somebody you don't trust. Or somebody your instinct is not clear about. Because honestly, I pity that boy. If that boy is not there in that house, such things will not happen. So for me, I said to myself, none of my child or my children would ever live with anybody again. Because I didn't grow up with my parents. I grew up someone else, and I know the effects of growing up without my parent. And so for me, I don't think any of my children will live at a certain age, especially the boy child age, with anybody. Maybe when they are grown up, they could go and see my cousins, my nephews, they can go and see anybody. But at that preliminary stage, I won't allow any of my child. So And my word for the society is once you have a doubt about somebody you keep your child or you trust your child with, withdraw them immediately.
Adding to what you just said, making emphasis on the movie, first off, the boy was almost being abused or molested, but he kind of refused because I feel the boy had already been told, either by the father or by the mother, that let no auntie touch you this way. If one auntie wants to do this, it is wrong. If one uncle wants to do this, it is wrong. That is sexual education. So I feel that the society should learn to teach boys sexual education. So the same way the girl child is being taught sex education, don't allow one uncle touch you here, don't allow the other uncle touch you that place, should also be the same thing we should be teaching the boy. Do not allow this auntie touch you here. If auntie touches you here, is bad. If uncle touches you here, is bad. In that regards, the boy will know that there are some certain places a man or a woman should not touch him. Thank you, Babs, for shedding light on these hidden pains.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, our viewers, for standing with the boy child. I remain Ambassador Joyce Nwakanma. Don't forget, the boy child's life matters. See you next time.
Imagine a life that is free from drugs. Imagine a world that is free from rape. Can we just have a life that is free from extortion? Imagine a world. Imagine a life. I'm overthinking, it's all in my mind. I'm overthinking, I'm over simulating in my head. I'm overthinking, it's all in my mind. I'm overthinking, I'm over simulating in my head. I'm overthinking in my